What we got here is a Polaris 2002 400 Sportsman, true 4x4 on demand. Been sitting a few years. It does pull over, but it will not start with the key. All we hear is a click. So we're going to take some covers off, get some testing equipment. Customer has installed a new battery, and see what we can figure out. Thanks for tuning in. I did get this Polaris going. I had to pull it like 100 times, but I removed the air filter, sprayed some carb cleaner down into the throat of the carburetor, and off she took. So now, see what happens if I can figure out why this electrical issue with the key isn't working. Test the solenoid to make sure you got power getting to it and stuff. Is obviously quite simple, really. If you think about it, the battery cable goes from here down to here. And when you engage your key, you're turning it over, it engages the solenoid. If it's clicking and whatnot, it should give you power like that. And the solenoid will click and it will transfer the power from this terminal to this large terminal. Now this large terminal here goes with this cable, goes down to the starter. Then you would do the same thing. You can test down at the starter, and if there's power getting to it, you know that all of this is good as far as continuity and whatnot. And that if the starter's not turning, well, then that tells you that there's something wrong inside the starter, or it's the starter itself. So that's what I'm going to be going ahead and doing, is going after the starter. So this is what this thing's doing. You go to start it, all it does is click. I have taken the time to test the solenoid, and I know that there's power going through it, and it is going down to the starter, which is kind of mounted down inside there along the engine. So I'm going to go ahead and get after that and remove the starter. That's what I'm hoping. Take it apart or replace it. Hopefully get this thing going. It just clicks. So the starter's in a heck of a spot. But I think if we go at it from the other side, we should be able to get at the two bolts that hold it on, remove a couple cables, sneak it out of there and see if we can take it apart and see what's going on. Maybe it needs a new starter. Maybe we can fix it. So the procedure I'm going to have to go at here, as I told you, I already tested the solenoid, and I know that the power is coming from the battery. When I turn the key, it's energizing this small wire, which sends it out the other larger wire here, which goes down to the starter. Now the starter's just clicking, so I'm going to remove this. They say you got to remove this cover and stuff, but I'm going to try to sneak the starter out from in behind here, and I think there's enough room, just barely, to get that done. So I'll kind of jump ahead frame by frame here and do my best to get the work done, but at the same time try to capture some of the process. So it's all 10mm bolts. To take this off here, and then the bolts that hold the starter on and the nuts that hold the cables on are all 10mm as well. So let's get at her. This should be interesting. Wish me luck. Getting this starter off was extremely hard. That bottom bolt was a nightmare. Starter came apart nice, got it polished up. This positive brush was stuck in this little brush bracket. I broke it free, sanded it a little bit, and as you can see, I'm just moving it in and out several times to make sure that it's going to last. Looks good to me. Just cleaning things up, getting it ready, put a little bit of grease in the bearings and bushings. Felt it was a little bit easier to assemble it and then put that little O-ring in. Here I'm pointing at the O-ring. That's kind of like the last piece to put in before you put the insulating washers on. Taking my time here, being very careful not to over tighten it. I've made it this far. I don't want to screw anything up. Anyway, things went together fairly well. Took it all apart, cleaned it up, lubed it up, reassembled it. Just a little bit of patience, but I think I'm gonna get this one working. I hope so. Next is to take it to the test bench. This is a test bench, but basically it's just a 12-volt power supply. It has a negative and a positive, but with a rocker switch that I can apply the 12 volts positive when I want to by pushing the switch. I did it a couple times, and if you notice at the end here, I kind of let it run for a while. I have a little amp meter on it as well, just to see what it's drawing when I run it, almost like a motor. This one was 0, which tells me that basically everything is inside is in great working condition and it's not shorting out. It should have lots of torque, and now that there's lots of brushes and what left in it, it should last 2 years. It actually slipped in here pretty good. I put the ears to the top when I first put it in. Then I put that hard to get in bolt into the ear and then rotated the starter counterclockwise so that I could get that bolt down into the bottom where I needed to. I was able to get my fingers just so inside to kind of just barely start it. It's a heck of a spot, but I did get it. That's a tough one to get to. Just slowly, a little bit at a time, we'll turn it. Once I get it tight, we should be able to test it. Funny as it might seem, I'm definitely cursing under my breath the entire time I tried to turn this bolt. It seemed like it took forever. Man, what a spot. Slowly but surely. Now that I got that bolt tight there, I can take this one back out because my ground strap has to go on there for the starter. You can see there's just so enough room for everything to fit. I'm gonna buff this up clean and then I'll put things back in there and start tightening this one up. Might not seem that important, but I feel it definitely is. Just a little bit of sanding is all it takes to make a good connection. It would be terrible to not do that when I went this far. Okay, that's all nice and tight. I'll bolt way down in there. It's tight as well. Got this positive cable cleaned up. Put it on the starter. All right, it's on and tight. Like all these videos that we do, needed a cameraman and someone to do the work. Kind of hard to do both, but anyway, I tightened that all up. Put the rubber boot back on. We'll hook the batteries and stuff back up. Battery cables, and give this thing a try. A small blessing, maybe even a little bit of a prayer. Let's hope for the best. Okay, we got everything back together, tight. Battery connections are back on. Time to give this thing a try. Key on and start. That's what we like to hear. Perfect. So in this case, what it ended up being was the positive brush on the starter was just stuck. Now this unit has been sitting for a few years, and I guess the starter brush kind of rusted a little bit there, so he got lucky in this case. Just had to take it apart, break it free, sand it down, clean it all up, lube it up, remove it, replace it, put everything back in, original starter, original everything, and he's got years to go. Perfect. Very pleased. Thanks for taking the time to watch my video. If you got any questions, leave it in the comments. I'll be more than happy to answer any when I can. And one thing I should kind of make a little bit of a note that I didn't take anything in the video when I did it is that bottom bolt. Because this cover is still in place, there wasn't enough room for me to get that bolt out all the way. I had to kind of pry it a little bit. So when I put it back in, what I actually did is I cut off, or ground off, I guess you could say, about 1/8 of an inch of the bolt, just made it a little bit shorter so that I was able to get it in there. It was still a tight squeeze, but with that little bit shorter of a bolt, I was able to get things to turn and get it to start and get things back together. So it saved me having to remove this whole cover and clutch and all that stuff, which is a much larger job, to just get it one little bolt. So I'm happy, customer should be happy. Thanks for watching. Take care. Feel free to ask any questions you might have in the comments. I'll do my best to answer and help you in any way I can. Thanks, everyone.